what are the changes in the educative process in this 21st century learning, and how would teachers respond to these changes? These are what we are going to discuss today. Hello everyone, welcome to Joies University, and for today's video, I'll be discussing the changing global landscape for the 21st century teachers. And you know, we are really living in a flat world. Flat because even if we are in the Philippines, we could be aware of what's happening in the different parts of the globe. Even if we are outside the classroom, we could participate in online learning, and even if we are anywhere else, we could participate to online seminars and webinars, all right? And this is actually made possible because of our skill, because of the teacher's skill on the information communication technology. That is why we have to understand all these changes in the new or in the global landscape or in the new educative process, so that teachers, we would reinvent ourselves so that we may be equipped, okay, to respond to these changes. According to Simeo Inotech, or the Southeast Asian Minister of Education, Organization, Innovation and Technology, there are already various changes and developments in the 21st century. But what is this Simeo Inotech? This is an organization in Southeast Asian nations, all right? This is an organization that aims to identify various educational problems, and more than that, this organization aims to provide solutions or to craft solutions to these existing educational problems, okay? Encouraging all teachers to be innovative, encouraging all teachers to come up with model solutions to these problems that we have to face. And this Simeo Inotech actually have identified various changes. It claims that we already have a new learning environment, which is true, right? The learning environment that we have now is totally different from what we had in the past. The learning contents are also different nowadays, all right? Our subjects are not at all congested because we have more years to spend in school. That's why the curriculum becomes decongested, and at the same time the focus also becomes different nowadays. The new processes of learning is also presented, and how to address or facilitate these new learning processes are also being introduced, because nowadays students and teachers alike have various ways of learning and have various platforms to learn. Also, the Simeo Inotech presented new types of learners that need new types of teachers. Alright, so these are the things that we'll be discussing today. Now, we shall start with the new learning environment. Noong una, when I was a student, I was just studying, I was learning in the four walls of the classroom, wherein the teacher was physically present and we were all there in the classroom, alright? But this time, we already have a different learning environment. And it says there, the learning environment has broadened from the confines of the room to places and spaces that is characterized by learner-centered. Noong ako, the teacher, it was actually teacher-centered, meaning the teacher gives everything. The teacher is in charge of the totality of the teaching and learning process. Now, it's learner-centered. So, meaning the teaching and learning process is focused on the learner. Learners are given more opportunities to explore, to be equipped the way they want to be equipped, to learn things according to their own interests and pacing and desires, okay? It's also characterized by new spaces because it's already borderless, meaning learning does not only happen in the four walls of the classroom. Even if you are not in the classroom, even if you are in the comfort of your own homes, you could still learn because we already have blended learning now, we have online learning now. So long as ICT is there, so long as technology is there, then you could learn wherever and whatever you want to learn. Alright, next. It's also characterized by opportunity of creativity and innovations because, like what I said, students are given more responsibility to study things the way they want to study it, to study them. They are given opportunities to apply their creativity and to be innovative as regards understanding a certain content or as regards accomplishing a certain tasks. Alright? And at the same time, the new learning environment is using the ICT or the information communication technology with the use of the different platforms. We could teach students using various platforms like Edmodo, like CLMS, and we could actually make use of all this so that with the aid of the internet, for that matter. So that's how new the learning environment is. Now we also have new learning contents. What is the meaning of new learning contents? The contents now are integrated or interdisciplinary. We are not discussing, or we are not learning a certain subject matter in isolation or a certain subject in isolation. We have what we call a spiral progression for learning science, meaning in a certain year level they already have a touch of everything. Like they are already learning chemistry, physics, biology, and general science. And at the same time, this science is already integrated with another subject area like that of math or like that of English. So meaning the way we approach our subject is totally different from the past, because before, if you are discussing English, we are focused on learning English alone, but this time English is already connected with another subject area. That's why it's integrated, it's interdisciplinary. It's demand driven because what we learn in the school is already what the students need outside, or when they are outside the school premises, when they are in the market. Alright? We are trying to provide them ideas, or we are trying to equip them with problems that they might encounter outside the school in real life. So whatever is needed in the market, those are the things that we teach our students now. That's why we have technical vocational courses. That's why we have courses or programs that are needed in the market. Okay, next, it emphasizes on learning tools on how to retrieve knowledge. So meaning now we are no longer focusing on how intelligent academically speaking the student is, how good the student is in memorizing the various contents, but we are more of teaching students how to apply these contents or this knowledge in real life. Like when they are facing this particular problem, how are they going to respond that? How are they going to solve that problem? So it's more of application of what they have learned. It's more of knowing the applicability of whatever they have learned in the classroom to real life. Because nowadays what matters most is what you have learned, but it's more of how are you going to apply what you have learned. Okay, that's why here in the learning content there is a balance between scientific. You learn science, you learn technology, you learn culture, you learn what's happening globally, and you are trying to contextualize that into local concepts. So balance of everything. Okay, aside from that, we also have new processes of learning and processes on how to facilitate these learning. We have face-to-face. This is very traditional. This is what happened during the pandemic. The teacher in the class is in the classroom, the students are in the classroom. Teaching learning process is done in the four walls of the classroom. That's face-to-face, confined in the same learning space at the same time. But we also have what we call distance learning. So when teaching and learning is mediated by the traditional, so it could be face to face, or it could it could be traditional, meaning the modules that you have given, like the teacher would be preparing a module, the module would be given to you, and you'd be studying the module wherever you want to study the module. Or you could actually have modern technology that like what we have now. You are learning by just merely watching videos like this in the internet, or we will be having our real-time online classes. I'm here at home, you are in your own houses, we are using internet and technology for our learning. So it could be without the physical presence of the teacher, through module or through online teaching. Next, we have blended modalities. That's why it's blended, because this is the combination of face-to-face and distance learning. There are times I have to go to school to meet your teachers and to be with your classmates, trying to study a certain content. But there are times as well that you have to go distance learning, meaning the module is given to you, or the module is given to you through your CLMS, and you have to study at your own pace whenever you want it. And at the same time, you could also schedule online classes real time, okay, under decision, or the time to be decided upon by the teacher. And we also have experiential and lifelong learning. Ito naman, when you immerse learners to real life situations. Alright, like what I said in my previous videos, if your topic, if you are into OJT, right, and you are political science students, and you have to immerse them to a real court, you have to let them watch real hearing. If you are studying pollution for that matter, then you have to immerse them in a certain environment where pollution is present, and vice versa. It's about immersing students to real life situations. That's experiential. And now we also have new types of learners. Dati, ang mga learners natin ay very passive. They would only listen and follow what the teachers would want them to do without raising questions, without arguing with the teachers. But now students are different. They think confidently, they are critical, and they communicate effectively. That's why there are some students who will be challenging the ideas of the teachers. There are already some students who are very expressive. I mean, he would tell the teacher everything that he would want to tell. There are students who would keep on raising questions, or even some students rather, who disagree sa mga teachers nila. They are more confident or more critical. They are no longer passive receptacles of information. They are active agents of learning. They're also self-directed. They often questions. They would also reflect. They would also take responsibility of their actions. Alright? Next, they are also concerned citizens. They are very much familiar with the global scenarios and concerned with local affairs. And at the same time, they are members of the new generation, pop culture for that matter. And because of the things that they watch sa internet or sa TV, then they tend to think differently and respond differently. They would also tend to act differently depending on the kind of, depending on what they watch in the internet. Sometimes kung mahilig sila sa K-pop, they tend to dress and talk as K-pop artists at the same time. So their attitude is being influenced by what they see in television, by what they see in the internet. Alright? And they are multicultural. It's no longer an issue for the students to have a certain culture. They accept various cultures and then even adopt various cultures, and they're even proud of the culture that they have. They are multicultural. And at the same time, we also have new types of teachers. If we have this new sets of environment and students and curriculum, then we have to make sure that the teachers also would respond to these new types of everything. So sabi, teachers must be skillful in the integration of the ICT. Lahat ng teachers dapat ngayon should know how to manipulate technology. They manipulate laptop. They know how to conduct online classes. Kapag hindi nila alam, I think it is just the responsibility of the teacher to equip himself with the necessities of the ICT. Another, they use broad pedagogies. They are no longer into traditional ways of teaching. They are into cooperative teaching. They are into inquiry-based learning. They tend to maximize the potential of every learner by means of crafting activities that would allow these learners to work with one another and to be inquisitive, alright? To have inquiry-based learning. And they also have to develop life skills or the 21st century skills that they have, okay? And they also have to have an understanding of the local and global culture. That's why we have the term globalization, knowing the global contexts of everything and trying to contextualize that into local practices. Dito rin pumapasok yung indigenization na sinasabi, trying to emphasize the practices of a certain indigenous group and trying to connect that to the practices and traditions of that locality until a global culture. And they also have to be very skillful as regards research and classroom problems, and that they'll be able to have their own solutions to these classroom problems based on researches and diagnosis. All right, and like what I said, they also have to develop 21st century skills. So